G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is All Rise. This is an extremely powerful, unique Super Sledge variant that can be won by the player by doing the quest called Mayor for a Day down in Watoga. You just gotta do a series of brilliant and engaging tasks to get this thing, including fighting a Scorchbeast on top of a building. It's awesome. This thing has 90% reduced weight, which sounds interesting in itself, but it actually weighs 8 pounds already, so it's nice of Bethesda, very generous of them to give us the only 80-pound unique weapon in the game, give it the reduced weight so it only weighs 9 pounds. It also gives you plus 10 health, which is the biggest health upgrade that you can get from any weapon in the game that you have equipped at any one time. How awesome is that? Doing 241 damage, which is very overpowered. This thing is going to one-shot rad roaches for sure. We'll have a good time with this one, and it also says plus 10 health down here. Now, I don't know if that means it actually means plus 20 health, but we'll have to go and test that in the public test server to see if that's real. So what we'll do is we'll apply some perks, but the thing is that I've got all of the perks I already need. So I've got Pack Rat, so when I'm carrying junk, it'll just weigh less, so I can carry a lot of it and not use my Fallout first thing. I've also got Barbarian, very useful when we're taking damage. We'll take a lot less damage. And we've also got Traveling Pharmacy, so I can hold all of my valuable stim packs that I can't stand to drop. We need all of these stim packs to heal. And if I lose even one of them, then, well, that's the end of the world. I've also got Strong Back. That gives me more room for stim packs. Moving on to Intelligence, we've got Makeshift Warrior at rank 5, so this thing breaks down 50% slower. That's one of the highest benefits you can get in the game for something bringing down slightly slower, so that's great. We've also got Thru-Hiker over here. This will dramatically increase our damage output by allowing us to stack every single food buff at all times, all the time. That has great synergy with Good with Salt, which means I can carry around about 300 pounds of food buffs with me at all times. And therefore, if I use all of those things, instead of spending the 6, 10, 12 points that I would normally on all of my damage perks, I can just put them in all just 6, I can use 6 perk points to get all of those buffs for free. How good is that? We've also got Junk Shield here. Now this one is especially useful if you're running around in power armor, because what you can do with power armor is it gives you a little bit more strength. And with that strength you can carry more junk, which makes your Junk Shield even stronger. How good is that? We've also got Class Freak here because we've got a bunch of mutations which may cause us special debuffs when we don't have our thing on. We don't have the perk called Class Freak on. We've also got Can Do here. That'll allow us to find more dog food, because that's what we eat on these servers. We eat nothing but dog food. That's what we deserve. And if I find one of these things, I immediately eat it, because I got to keep my health bar and food bar and also water bar full at all times here. And if I got some perk things, this one's especially useful if you're by yourself. Always use that one by yourself. And that's about it. Now the damage after every single other thing has been applied is 241. That is a massive gainage of damage there. It's something that Todd Howard does not know. It's a secretly overpowered weapon. A lot of people don't know this, but it's secretly overpowered. We've got a matching set of Excavator to go along with it. Oh yeah, it's time to go. We're also in a roleplay team today to increase my charisma. That allows me to increase my damage by charming my enemies before I cave their skulls in with All Rise. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so here we are outside of West Tech Research Center, and I've spent all of my week's rent on a week of Fallout First. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be placing our super secret tent, and then we're going to jump out of our power armor because it's time to buff up. Now what you want to do before every single fight is check on your cooking workbench to see whether you've got all of the specific options you need. So all of the buffs you want is, yep, aged Milo clean steak. That'll give us more endurance, more luck from awesome bacon. That does well. If we get a bit of rad resist out of bloatfly, so we'll do that. Maybe even a little bit more with a bloatfly loaf. Now what we want to do is skip all of these ones. They're not really that useful. We want to find the ones that give us extra strength. That means our characters are stronger, which allows us to take less damage when we hit get stuff, and make sure you get all of the strength buffs and eat them all at the same time, so you resist a lot of damage. You can grab agility, that allows you to sprint for shorter stages, but you'll also sprint faster at the same time. It's a pretty cool trade-off that they made. And now we want to get into these special ones. You'll find that some of these have melee damage plus X amount of percent. That's going to double our damage right there. If we can find something like grilled radstag, better stock up on those. These ones give you extra carry weight, which allows you to carry more food buffs, which allows you to gain more strength and power, and also damage out of that. And if I catch you cooking Gulper, I'm going to kill you. Next up, we've got this one. This one gives us luck, which is good. That means we're going to have bullets bounce off our power armor like all excavator power armor suits can do. We've also got mole rat chunks that gives you more strength for damage reduction. These mutant hound chops are pretty good, I guess. They only increase your damage by about 3 times, or it's not really that much. This one is even less so, at only 7.2 times amount of melee damage, so make sure you don't chase those ones too much. They don't actually do a lot for you. Either do those. These ones are okay, but you won't find them out in the wild. In fact, I had to contact a few people on Market 76 and also those RMT sites to get a hold of those ones. They're hard to find. And we've also got Radstag Soup, which will give us energy resist, so we can't get one-shotted by laser guns anymore. It's pretty useful, right? We've also got a Scorchbeast heart. I just like to cook those because they smell nice on the grill. And I think that's about all of it. This one also gives you strength, but this one tastes bad, so I probably won't eat it anyway. And we can get a little bit more melee damage. This will actually multiply it by 12 times, which is a pretty small buff, all things considered. You won't get a whole lot of damage out of that. And this one's called Yao Guai Roast. It's a little bit different to the ribs you see. It's got a different 3D model. Honestly, this one looks slightly more filling, so we might want to eat that one first just so we can enjoy it more. Now, what you want to do after you've eaten all of these is just, like, shove them in your mouth or quick-like as fast as you can, because the faster you eat, the more damage you'll do, and that's it then. Now, I've gained a little bit of extra radiation out of that, which is not good. We're going to have to get rid of that right now. And the way you get rid of that in this game is there's an item called Radaway. It's a very secretive item, but what you want to do is use that, and then, unfortunately, we've lost some of our mutations, but that's okay, because we'll actually lose... Actually, we might have to gain those back, but we've lost a little bit of damage. That's okay. We'll jump back into our brilliant, pristine suit of Minecraft power armor, and we'll get to work. So now with all of those food buffs applied and stepping into our power armor, which increases our dexterity by about 12 points, we're doing ourselves 405 damage. Now, the way you want to play this is have a finger on the hotkey for the Stimpack button, and as soon as you take the slightest bit of damage, just hammer the fuck out of diluted Stimpaks, and you'll find that you can basically never die, and you'll do really well against these super mutants. We're wrecking them. This thing is clearly overpowered right now. We're messing up this super mutant warlord at the moment. He's having a really bad day, and we are looking really great here in this power armor. Wouldn't you agree? So right now we're one-shotting low-level dogs, which is actually kind of overpowered. So Bethesda might need to balance this in the future, because I think it might be ruining the player base. It might be getting less players to play this. They might be playing stuff like Fortnite instead, and that's a no-no. Do you know Fallout 76 had a Fortnite game mode? I've never played it because PvP makes me anxious, but I've heard that it is really bad. That's why they actually removed it, and when they removed it, it was actually really good. How did he block that? He blocked with a rifle. Oh, there you go. And this turret should go down in one hit. We just gotta make sure we strike it. There we go. We one-shotted it there. And, pretty good weapon. At, adrenaline full here, we can get ourselves 456 damage, which is about twice as powerful as a Gauss rifle. So, it's really strong. Okay, it's pretty dark outside, so I'll turn my headlight on so you can see. If you hold down the tab button, it'll actually turn on a headlight for you, which is really useful for spotting enemies in the dark. Here we've got a feral ghoul, but these are actual people, so we kind of feel sorry for killing them because they're real people. Oh, I'm taking damage. Taking damage. There we go. Okay, we're on top of it now. We're okay. We'll be okay with this. And what you can do with a super sledge here is just stand there and let 20 ghouls hit you at once. And if you do that, I mean, you can get away with getting many one-shot kills. It's probably a little bit too powerful, to be honest. You'll find that if you are killing stuff in one shot, then you should probably stop using that build because it's unbalanced and other players might have a lesser experience because of that. And yeah, just make sure you go to r/Fallout76 and figure out that why your build is so powerful and just nerf yourself so everyone else can have a fair game. Sometimes when you power attack, you'll do a little bit more damage as well. So if you feel like there's an enemy that can't be one-shotted by this thing, which generally there's not, it's basically one-shotting everything, you can power attack and you'll actually get maybe like 14 times more damage sometimes. It's pretty good, but just be aware that if you power attack, you might wear out your power attack button, and if you do that, you have to buy a whole new keyboard or controller, and that's not good. So you gotta use them a little bit more in, I guess, supposedly a little bit more in, you gotta just use them in only emergency situations anyway. This keyboard's almost ruined anyway, so I'm okay with hitting the Alt button and ruining it. And, but, you know, just for demonstration purposes, you can power attack in this game, and it's really not that effective for doing that much more damage. Oh shit, I'm almost dead. There we go, fixed now. Okay, next up we have the poor individuals that are actually nice, but the reason they kill us is because, I don't know, maybe because they're jealous of my shiny power armor. Now that guy's got a pool cue, that makes him one of the most dangerous combatants in the game, so that's one of those emergency moments that I was referring to earlier where you have to power attack, otherwise he one-shot kills you. This guy, don't have to worry about it. He was old anyway, so he didn't hit for a whole lot. Make sure you always have your health topped up at 100% at all times. If you don't, you'll likely get one-shotted by the PvPers and the griefers and the cheaters and also the hackers. They'll come at you. They'll get you. And this guy's only got a small knife, so despite him having greater reach, I actually killed him anyway, which is pretty good. And unfortunately, this one's greening out. He's having a bit of a seizure, so it's so sad that we have to put him out of his misery because, you know, these crackheads, they're great people. They're people you want to be around. And it's unfortunate that we have to put them down like that. Now, this guy is called, he's called, a glowing behemoth. And, what he will do is, like, I guess hit you. So you just gotta hit him back and eventually you win. When almost dead, when almost at 50% health, better turn on the emergency protocols. There we go. Sometimes you get a stagger. You can guarantee the stagger if you smash the mouse button 1 or whatever fucking trigger you use on a console. If you smash it real hard, like if you just belt it in, you'll get a stagger every time. That's a YouTube tutorial told me that. And a person on r/Fallout76 told me that too. Now, what you want to do if you are cornered in a fight like this and you have to use like more than 10 stim packs at any given moment, is just jump all the time. Just keep on jumping. I'm double jumping here. I don't even know how I'm doing that. And anyways, so he goes down. That fight took about 15 minutes, which I think is all fair and balanced. I quite like that. And unfortunately, I spent all of my bottle caps on repairing my armor. I got scammed. I sold a TSE radium rifle to get my armor repaired, and we didn't get it back. Okay, I've still got the headlights on, so we'll be able to see everything in front of us. And right now, we're going to fight these guys. They're called Mirelurk Deep Kings, all of them. And what these guys will do is they'll hit you, but that's okay, because we're in power armor. We're pretty much immune to their hits. Another thing these guys do is give you a little bit of poison damage, and when they hit you, it's like fire damage as well. You can't see the fire, though. It's like fire underneath your skin. And they just give you a slight bit of damage over time, which I think adds a lot to the game. I think it's a really good thing that enemies can apply damage over time to the player and kill you no matter what you do if you spam 10 stim packs. And this one's called a Savage My Alert King. That's because he's a little bit grumpy. He didn't get out of the right side of bed this morning. But that's okay. We all get like that. I used to get like that after my wife's new boyfriend was up with my wife all night. I just wouldn't get any sleep. I just make too much noise. But you know, after I get up and had my morning coffee at Starbucks, and they wrote my name on the Starbucks cup, that made me feel happy. That gets me in that puts me in a happy mood. So this thing's called Mirelurk Behemoth, and what it'll do is evidently hit you. Now it's really important that we have our fingers on the stim pack button at all times here to make sure we can gather as much healing as possible, because this thing will one-shot you under all circumstances. But if you have your finger constantly spamming the button at all times, then you'll find that you'll have a really good time with this. Right now, I'm using a thing called VATS. It's a pretty hidden mechanic in this game. Basically, the game does everything for you, and you can do everything fairly effortlessly indeed. So we're at 30% health, so we've got to spam like, I don't know, like 10 stim packs. That'll bring our health back up to snuff. And whilst we're hitting the queen, make sure we hit her on the shell, because that breaks her back and cripples everything. And we'll try to mash the mouse button one as hard as possible, because that'll allow us to get staggers on her, which is just a great way of getting that extra damage. It's just such an efficient way of getting all the damage. Might die here, gonna spam more stim packs. Okay, looks like we're okay now. We should be able to kill the Mirelurk Queen very quickly here. It's a very quick fight, this one. Probably the quickest I've ever killed a Mirelurk Queen. I'm so glad I'm recording right now. I'm so happy. Oh my god, I love Fallout 76 so much. And looks like we've got these little dudes attacking us. You make sure when you deal with these guys to run away from them, because they have the tendency to crash the game if they bite you for too long. And now we've got a little bit of rads, but I can't get rid of those without removing mutations, but I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and do that. To my knowledge, there's no way of actually removing these mutations away from you without getting rid of some sort of without applying some sort of perk to stop that. But that's okay, we can just reapply them. We'll spend the remaining 739 caps I have on some more mutation serums. Now, I've heard on the internet that you can use a perk called Enforcer to cripple a Scorchbeast wings, and that'll immediately bring them down so you can hit them with a melee weapon whilst they're down. But I've tried this and it just doesn't work. I've tried this a lot. Before I started recording, I tried this quite a lot, and it just doesn't work. I think they're lying. There's a YouTuber called Tyre, and he does all of these guides on really powerful builds, but not as powerful as mine, because he doesn't use food buffs all the time. And he says that you can use Enforcer to bring down a Scorchbeast, but as you can tell, I'm hitting the Scorchbeast like all of the time here, and it's not working at all. It's just not working. I don't know. I don't know. r/Fallout76. I might post on this later because I just can't seem to get it working. It might be a bug in the game, but I don't think there's any bugs in this game. Bethesda made this game pretty well. They've done a great job at building a dynamic world full of interesting characters and fun activities. And yeah, it just looks like Enforcer just doesn't work at all. It's a real shame. Oh look, mole rats. They're my favorite enemies. They add so much to the game with their burrowing ability. And now we've got all of the Scorched running at us. Now, it's unfortunate that we have to kill Scorched. It's kind of racist, actually, because we're killing them just because they're Scorched. Hopefully, Fallout 76 can do better in the future, because the amount of other races that we mindlessly slaughter every day, I think it's really problematic, and we need to do better at Bethesda Game Studios. Just because they're orange and disgusting does not mean that they're any less than us. Maybe we should try to start a dialogue with these guys. We'll have a talk to them. Look, I've never taken on a Scorchbeast by myself before, so I don't think I can do this. It's a pretty hard boss. Normally, when I see a Scorchbeast in my server, I just quit the server and then come back to a different one. But we'll try to get at least one kill here. Also, didn't realize that I was almost dead, so got lucky there. I think Scorchbeasts are the most unrewarding things to fight because, as far as I know, I've never seen any loot drop from them. They tell me I'm not doing enough damage to actually see the XP or loot drop, but I reckon it's because they just don't drop anything. You don't even get any XP from these guys either. It's such a shame, man. People tell me they've added legendary variants of the Scorchbeast into this game as well, and that's really interesting. It adds quite a lot to the experience, and I think it's good. And I think that's about it for this weapon review. I think I've demonstrated that this is probably one of the most powerful things in the game here, and yeah, so that was All Rise. I definitely recommend this weapon to anyone who is starting out. If you're doing a stealth commando build, use it. If you're doing a pistol build, use it. If you're doing a melee build, use it. And if you're doing a stealth melee build, definitely use it, because there might not be a single other weapon in the game that's better than it. And with that, thank you very much for watching, guys. I'm out of here.